study,
and play come together on a Windows 11 PC.
And for a limited time, college students get
The best of both worlds.
Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
This episode is brought to you by Prime. What if you had one more chance with the one that got away?
Sam, you came home.
Based on the best-selling novel from Carly Fortune. Every Year After follows childhood friends Sam and Percy as they reunite in the dreamy, nostalgic lakeside town of Barry's Bay.
Love can be hard to find. So if you're lucky enough to find that person, never let go.
A second chance at first love. Every Year After. Streaming June 10th, only on Prime.
Hi, we're sisters, Amy and Nancy Harrington, the founders of the Passionistas Project, where we believe that every woman deserves to be seen, heard, and celebrated. Our mission is simple but powerful, to give women a platform to tell their unfiltered stories, the stories that inspire, challenge, and break the silence around what it really means to follow your passions. On each episode, we have conversations about courage, authenticity, and the messy, beautiful journey of living life unapologetically. Today's guest, Rozalyn Lucero Corona, has spent 25 years turning big ideas into real impact, generating over $6 million in revenue while building businesses, nonprofits, and powerful community networks across Southern California. As the founder of Chingona Community, she's on a mission to elevate women's leadership, entrepreneurship, and opportunity for the next generation. We're so happy to have you here today, Roz.
Oh, thank you so much, Nancy. That's a beautiful introduction. So thank you so much. Very, very humble.
Our pleasure. You're a beautiful human being, and we're glad to have you here. What are you most passionate about, Roz?
Women. I mean, point like right away, women. You know, it's really ironic. We were talking a minute ago about timing, and I'm working on a training program for some women that want to get more engulfed in our organization. And I got a chance to reflect, read, think before I started putting this training together. And when I read it, it's really, really, it makes me happy because what I'm trying to do is to elevate women. And that's really what my passion is women. I've got 2 daughters, a granddaughter. I'm a Nina, a sister, daughter myself. I've got my mom, you know, I've got a lot of great women in my life. But I think my biggest thing is that I feel like I stand for all women, not just in my family.
Well, that's beautiful. And we appreciate that you're doing that work. You know, you mentioned your mom. Does this passion for women and a drive to uplift women come from your childhood? Is that something you learned at an early age?
That's a great question. A couple of times have I had folks ask me yeah, where'd you come from? Kind of. I've gotten that a couple of times, and I kind of like that question. You know, not really. I think the example that I really got from my mom was how to be a good mom. My mom was very present. My mom was very active. My mom had 4 kids under the age of 5 when I was 4 kids under the age of 5 when I was 5. So there was 4 of us at that same time. So I think what I got from that as a child was more of what it means to work hard, what it means to have to take care of others. My mom was always taking care of us. And I think that's maybe where I got the idea to take care of other women, not necessarily learning that it should be women. Like my mom took care of kids. I feel like I'm taking care of women. So maybe that's the correlation.
Yeah. And what about leadership from that? Did that develop over time as well, or were you always drawn to being a leader?
I was a born leader as the eldest of these crazy kids. I'm probably the craziest, but I was born into having to be a leader. You know, I was born into when my mom finally did have to go get a work gig. You know, she was a stay-at-home mom for years. And when she finally had to take on a couple of, you know, helping out with the financial foundation of our home, I was the one that was called on to watch the kids, or I was the first one driving, so I had to go drop off, or I was in charge of driving us to school, things like that. So I kind of feel as though I was a born leader. I recently, in the past 5 years, I get beautiful memes and information and quotes and pictures sent from folks. And recently I tattooed on me, courageous, victorious, empowered, and chosen. And I believe that. Like, I think that I was born to do this and didn't realize it until later.
What was that moment where you realized it?
Probably being shot down for being a woman. There were so many, so many moments of being shot down for being a woman. I think one of the biggest ones that stands out and probably did really was that trigger where I really could say I was a full feminist. I was sexually harassed. I was sexually harassed in my workplace, probably around my elder daughter's age, around 24, 25. I really put that experience in the back of my head, but not, meaning I'm not fearful to share it. But if you told me what year, I know what company, I know the gentleman's name, I know the experience, like I know the details, but I don't know what year it was. But I was in my early to mid 20s. And I think at that point, losing a home, I was already in turmoil with my family, with one of my child's fathers, just wasn't a good relationship, verbally abusive. It wasn't the right thing for either of us. But going through all that at one time, the being sexually harassed was the worst. You learn it in school, and I've shared this story before. I learned it in college. When I was in school, sexual harassment, that was way before Me Too, way before I Can't Breathe, way before everything that we've experienced in this past decade. That truly was like 25 years ago. But to know that it's been that long and it still semi exists is just, it's upsetting. And that's why I do feel like I've been driven to do this, right? This mission to make sure that others are supported, heard, know that they're not alone. And I do definitely think that was probably the trigger point where I'm like, F everybody. Like, we need the women to be taken care of, right? That's really, I think, where I got that from.
So you went into a very male-dominated field, right? You went into business management. You studied business management at Loyola, and then you went into corporate sales at Xerox. So what else did you learn from this early career that you carried forward into your work now?
Resiliency and not giving up. I had like the best mentors ever. I have been doing a lot of from growing the brand and being engaged with other groups. I'm on TikTok right now. That's a big thing for me right now, because there's some things that I personally need from my career that's going to help. And I've already built the foundation. But I share that backstory because I just talked about Xerox today. And I think that it was a catch-22 kind of. I didn't realize this at that young of an age. The mentors that I had at Xerox, although 90% of them were men and 10% women, the beautiful thing is this: in that space at that time, I got the OGs. I got the ones that were in at 6, that left at 6, the ones that truly, from Thomas Guide to Notebook to suit, tie, nylon, like you name it, I got that experience at that young of an age, which does not exist anymore. And then the women population being so small, that's where I also got that power from. I had still male mentors, but then I still had those female leaders that I'm like, oh my gosh, we're all badass together, and they really cared. So that experience was helpful because I learned things as a business woman that you may not have learned if you weren't so lucky to be in that kind of environment at that young of an age. I was in that environment in college. I was an intern, and I had already had my first child. I had my first child at 18. And when I got that internship, 2 things. A, I didn't even realize what Xerox did and why they even wanted me. That's number one. I just knew it was one of the closest internships in my program by my house. But then number 2, I let them know I'm a single mom and I need a job through school. And they actually let me stay on part-time while I was going to college. So I worked with them my 3rd and 4th year of school. Nobody really gets that real work experience. I mean, I really worked with them. I wasn't just pushing paper. I was doing accounting, HR, sales, checking meters. Like, I was doing real work as a very young adult. So
I want to go into your community because that is the main reason that we have you here today, because we want to spread the word. So Tell us about your community and what inspired you to take the first step to create it.
We're a 501c3, the Chingona Community Incorporated 501c3. Our pillars include leadership development. So underneath that could be workforce, it could be a financial literacy class, it could be, how to start your career over. We have a community aspect to what we do, and that includes giving back, right? Because that's a big deal. I teach that in my house all the time. That could be everything from a car show where we give funds to a school, to a scholarship, to a youth day. Even we've done veterans canned food drives. So that really encompasses that entire, community and giving, paying it forward. And then our third pillar is wellness. I'm the firm believer that, to have a holistic, strong woman, all those matter: business, life, giving back, and then making sure that you are mentally stable, physically stable to be giving back to yourself and to your homes. So what drove me to start the organization, first of all, the name came from, I work out a lot, and constantly I get tagged Chingona, Chingona. And this was like seriously 5 or 6 years ago, before the word was more mainstream. And a lot of folks still don't know the definition. I have to ask that. People, my mentors always remind me, always ask if they know. I'm like, okay. But it means a mujer, so a female who is known as fearless, intelligent, bold, and at the end of the day, unapologetic, AKA badass. So when I started the group, knowing that folks kind of tagged me as that name, I wanted to set a foundation and a network platform for folks to not worry about, feel welcomed. It's really not for one demographic. It's for all women. The name just happens to resonate because people would call me that. And I feel that that's a very strong name for any woman, whatever background you are. And I just felt like there was a lack of organizations and groups that were so inclusive. Every company at that time, not anymore because of funding and maybe not as much anymore, ERGs or employee research groups, which are great, but sometimes they're siloed, just like some of the other organizations and networks that might be out there that are women driven, but maybe they're just for one particular woman. So when I built this foundation and built this group, I wanted everyone to know that it's truly for everyone, because I'm a firm believer that the more we have, the more we are, the stronger we are, the more resources, the more connected, and the more we keep things moving. Where once you get into those silos, you kind of just stay with the same group.
Tell us some of the specific focuses of your community.
So focus driven would truly be, my goal has been, and I'm so proud that we finally got there. Focus driven is to have this platform national. I've already got my favorite city, which I just got off the phone with them, Kansas City. I've already got the framework. We just need to build on it. So in a futuristic land for the Chingona community, it's to build this platform, share it with others, ensure that every single woman has a chance at a job, at taking a change in career, going through menopause and with 4 kids and maybe divorce. Like this platform is made for the holistic woman to make sure that we're growing. So if I had to give you what the growth plan would be, chapters, we focus on programs to help us grow. So programs that make us stronger as a business person, as a mother, and again, as a community activist. So I'm really big on making sure that we're aligned with programs that fit that holistic woman, but the build is always financial. It always comes down to having staff, having resource, and that's where we are right now. We've experienced exponential growth. And so now we're finally in a place where we're building a couple of teams. They're volunteer based right now, but the goal really is to grow this nationally, is to be able to have a financial platform that this can be given to everyone at no cost.
Speaking of that, we met you at She Angels Foundation Power Hour. And I think we met you the first time you came.
Yeah.
And then after that, you became a grant recipient. So talk about She Angels and what walking into that space was like for you the first time, and what being a grant recipient has meant to you.
I tell the story, and I think you were there when I got it. I definitely got really emotional. I was invited by someone who had attended my awards. So this was in June, fast forward to 2 and some months later. And she said, you've got to meet this group. I know it might not be much to your group, but they offer their foundation offers grants to nonprofits. And I said, any grant for us is grant, that's what we need. So I'll never forget walking up. in a very, very nice part of town. And I was solo, which that doesn't usually worry me. But when I went into the room, I definitely was, I feel like one of the 1%, maybe even 2%. And not because they made me feel that way. That's just what I was walking into. And I'll never forget, because I thought, oh my gosh, where's Diana? She's the one that brought me. And she was like, oddly, she was right behind me. So, we walked in and I didn't know what to expect, but I thought, do what you usually do, meet people. Like, you never know. Like, that's what my group is built on, or that's what our organization is built on. The second that I heard Kat speak, I just knew. And then I heard Teresa speak, and then I just knew. And then I had a chance to spend some one-on-one time with several other of the women within that group. And when they shared what the membership would be like, how you can come back and you can bring a friend. And I thought, I am in 100%. So that I don't want to call it fear, because I don't usually get fearful. That unknown kind of for a minute, and thinking, would I be accepted? And again, that could be my culture. That could be me being sexually harassed, that you think that just because you're pretty that a guy's going to want to try to, there could be so many different things in your brain. And then like I said, the second I heard them speak, from statistics to why they started the group to what they stand for, I thought, oh my God, these are another group of sisters. So of course I came back, and then we applied for the grant. And then when we found out that we won it, I had the beautiful opportunity to share that story, bring my daughters, bring my granddaughter, bring my board members to be engulfed in the love that I felt. And oh, by the way, is this a great example to show others that it doesn't matter who you are. It matters if we all care, if we're aligned in what we care, and if we're genuine and authentic about what we're really doing for our women and our communities. This is what we need. And so the rest is history. I'm in love with the She Angels. They are. And then if I hadn't went, I wouldn't have met you both. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've brought some amazing people that we've met through you that we absolutely love and have welcomed into our community. And it's just, I love the non-competitive aspect of everything we're all doing. We all just want to see women succeed, and whatever we can do individually or collectively to do that, we are all going to do, and make sure we do authentically and well, and with love and support.
Absolutely. So when someone comes in and joins your community, who is that person when she walks in, and who do you hope she's going to become after being part of your community?
I love that, because I can think of a couple of examples already. The woman that enters is scared to talk to somebody, is scared to maybe sell to somebody, has never even went to a networking meeting, maybe doesn't have a lot of friends sometimes, or feels like they're out of place. Maybe is experiencing so much life at home that they think like, oh God, they're going to know. And the woman that walks out has new sisters, hangs out with them, does business with them, has a confidant in them, trusts them. And I've seen it happen.
Beautiful.
And how has building this community changed you?
I'm still alive. It's been the worst since COVID. I lost my dad. We had 2 other deaths, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, in 11 months. I suffered a lot with alcoholism, and I'm working on some of that right now. And if it wasn't for this community, there are so many things that I probably would be in that I shouldn't be, and maybe not in jail, but not in a good mental space or a head space. And I always remind myself, what you pour out to others, you do need to try to get back, but what you're pouring out, make sure that you're also practicing.
It sounds like you are similar to us in that I always say that I personally get more from the community than we could ever give to anybody in it. It's just, it changes us. It, fills us up every day. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And we love you, and you are such a badass.
Such a badass.
It blows my we're kind of obsessed and fangirl about you on Instagram all the time. It's like, is it bad that we're liking and sharing again? Like we can't help ourselves, but as community builders, and as inclusive community builders, we really have come to look to you as a shining example of what it can be and what it can mean and how it can impact people. And it's hard to find out there,
Yeah.
it really is. And we pride ourselves on doing that, but when we look at what you are doing, you are kind of the North Star of that to us. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you give us a couple of success stories from women who have been in your community?
Oh gosh, I get mad at them for not telling me them all. And it's not even for me to gloat. It's that I'm like, why don't you guys tell me? This is amazing. Some success stories have been we've had folks help each other sell their homes, like literally be their real estate agent. I have new beautician connections where they'll call me and say, Roz, I'm getting my hair done by so and so. I'm like, I love that. So I mean, and those are so basic, but not. They weren't there. Those connections weren't there before. From mentor-mentee relationships, banking relationships, business relationships, no real marriages just yet that I know of. I mean, I've been a matchmaker in my old life, but nothing like that. But the camaraderie and the collaborations have been exponential. And we're talking with even this morning, here's a great one from Chase Bank in LA, Orange County to Kansas City. And even some of the connections they don't know, but I know, and they don't realize, I mean, it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. People who are speaking as like their keynote or their addressing for their galas, so that, speaking engagements. I mean, the list could go on and on. It's been so fun to watch. People getting into maybe a new place of work because of somebody, like actually either pulling their resume or sharing their information, their resume. Yeah, it's so awesome to watch. I only wish that I knew every single one of them, but a lot of business connections, a lot of friendships. Some of them go to concerts even. I'll see them posting. I'm like, how the heck did you? I'm like, whoa, but it's great. Baseball game. I mean, the camaraderie is deep. It's really, really deep, and I love that.
Yeah, that is so powerful when you see, I always love on Instagram when we see somebody liking somebody's post and we're like, oh, they know each other. And then it's like, oh, they probably know each other because of us.
Yes, yes. Oh
It's
yeah,
like, oh,
no.
those two never would have met.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Great. Has there been a moment in this whole journey for you that really stands out as one that means the most to you or is just a significant milestone that you like to celebrate?
I would like to say that it's attending, planning, executing, because that's part of what we do when we're in business, my awards programs, but having my family with me. So I actually have one of my most favorite photos of us, and we kind of even make jokes, but it is like a really beautiful photo. Is year one. It was all of my kids, minus my grandbaby because she wasn't born yet. But if there's something that I really just get like, it's almost like I get to have a wedding every year. And it's not about having a change of husbands. It means that type of sacrament, connection, joy, experience. I get to have one every single year, and I get to have them all with me, minus my eldest son. He's in the Navy now. And even this year, I thought, like, do you think you could come? And he can't get time off. He'll come next year, but for the most part, when they get to come and it's all of us, it's just so, so powerful. Last year, we all went together with my grandbaby. So last year, I had all my kids and my grandbaby, and I flew my son home on purpose for it. So that to me is just such a powerful moment to have my kids, my legacy, my husband who watches me day in and day out, sacrifice time to do this, to be there with me. And it's not even about to see me, be like, oh, look what my mom did. It's to be there. Like that's what I thrive.
Tell us a little more about that event. What happens during it?
Yes, so it's coming up June 20th, 2026. It's our 5th annual awards program. And right after COVID, I committed to the group. I said, it's one thing for us to network and business exchange and give back, but we're going to celebrate us. So every year we highlight women throughout our communities, along with gift scholarships. So to date, I just did the math. Actually, it's 18 women that we have highlighted in the past 4 years. And then we've gifted over $12,000 in scholarships over that time frame. And so not only do we, my big thing for the night is to celebrate the women. The scholarships are great, but we need those women to continue to do what we're doing, right? We're just giving them the launch pad and a couple of bucks to make that happen. But my energy and fuel comes from watching these community leaders get on stage, get certificates from state, local leaders, their mayors, and having that moment to shine and to share with the community what they do as well, because that's how we grow. And that's really what that awards program is. So we start with the program. We're so lucky that we have one of our local radio stations, 93.5 CC Valencia, has come back for the past 4 years as our MC. Music, dancing, celebration, state and local leaders. This year we have a really hefty program. I can't let my keynote yet. We're so close. It's just a phenomenal night of celebration, inspiration, sharing impact, and really, really driving connection for all people there.
Amazing. What would you say is like the biggest challenge that you see consistently that the women in your community are facing, and how are you helping them address that?
I think they don't know their challenges. I really do. I mean, we're our worst critic, and it's funny that this is even coming up today because I had a couple of experiences and they're repeat experiences. I don't think truly that some of the women realize where their gaps are and where they need help with, and that could be so many things. That could be, maybe you shouldn't have done this at a networking meeting, or that could have been maybe you shouldn't have overcommitted, or that could have been maybe you should have spoken up and just said you can't do something. So I think a lot of the women that we support and that we uplift have a hard time recognizing what they really need help with. Now, the beautiful thing is that we're kind of doing it all simultaneously and stuff's working. But I firmly believe that a lot of women don't know how to say no because we're just taught that we're not supposed to say no, when in my world, that kills me. Because if I have a team or a group and folks saying that they can, then we get to the 11th hour before the June 20th program and someone's off the grid for a minute. It doesn't work that way. But then on the reverse, somebody might think that I can't accept help, or I don't want it, or I just want to be in control. That's not the case at all. Believe me, if I could get consistent, commitment, or I can't. Right. So I kind of think that's a really big gap in women, that we don't know when to say no. We don't know what we need help with. We sometimes need people to pull that out, or will we be fortunate enough to attend maybe a Chingona Community program where a light bulb will go out? Somebody else will talk. It's almost like I'm like the mom of the group. My kids might not want to hear it from me, but then they'll hear it. Someone like, oh my God, she's right. It's kind of in this space too. They might think that, so it's kind of ironic that you asked that question. I kind of think that some of them don't know what they need, and it takes a little bit of that exploratory or the resources, the programs, the invites to get to some of these meetings, even with the She Angels, that light bulbs go off, and that's how we teach and grow.
Yeah. Is there something that you personally had to unlearn in order to be a leader in this community?
For sure, a lot. The biggest one, which has turned into the most powerful, and I actually unlearned it before I got to the Chingona community, which is good, is delegating, and delegating with trust that you got to let somebody fail. And one of my old sales teams, it was my very first stint with a regional team of 12, all levels, older than me, younger than me, like everywhere. And I had to learn that early on, that I couldn't be everywhere and I could teach, but you got to give them the conch, and, let's have a discussion, but let them go with it. If they fail, you didn't fail, you gave them a chance to learn, and we all learn. That's the way it goes. So I had to unlearn that. And when I started this organization, I had to remind myself, I should say. So maybe not so much the unlearning, because even early on, it's the same thing now, that I know that if I can't get the help, or I didn't have the funds, you just do it, right? You just make it work. But I do think that's something that I have to remind myself of a lot, that just know that, hey, delegate and and distribute. And if it doesn't happen, you did what you were supposed to do. And then you just, move on from there.
Yeah. Has your definition of success changed from those days at Xerox to where you are now?
For sure. Success to me is not only financial with homes or material things, but success to me is mental success.
Yeah.
Knowing when to turn off, knowing when to, it was recent, I told my daughter, I'm like, I think I'm going to go home and take a nap. She said, "Ah, I love that for you." Where old Ross 20 years ago, I'm like, I can't take a nap because someone's got, so it's, to me, success has changed. That when you're mentally, I don't want to use the word stable because I don't think I'm mentally stable. I'm all over the place sometimes. But when you're mentally aware sometimes of things, and to me, that's successful because you're able to wait, breathe, digest, quiet. That's successful when you can do that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So if someone who's listening feels powerful but unseen, what's a bold move you would encourage her to make?
Come see us. Come see us. There is no, what are the old little taglines? Like no colored lines, like come see us, come sit down. You don't know how many times in this journey, in these 5 years, I've been siloed with, oh my God, I, left there in tears, and here's why. So powerful. You guys are so welcoming. It really is an open, and like things that they don't know until they get there. But then when they get there, they feel it, like that welcomeness, that energy, that there's no silos or, that feeling you have to feel on your own, but it's there. And if somebody is feeling that way, I would challenge them. Just know that there is no judgment. You walk in, you are a part already. You're going to be coddled whether or not you want to or not. It's just going to happen. And that's what I love about the energy foundation, people, women that we support and that we are, because that's a given.
What's the question that we're not asking you about what you do?
How do we financially live?
Okay, how do you financially live?
How do we live and sustain and get to this where you could really do this every single day, Roz, and have an executive sponsor that will take that plunge and make that investment into diversity, women, youth, leadership, community, and let you run full force. I have not in 5 years done this as a quote unquote full-time. I have not ever received a, like, here is our labor cost. Like, we're building, but that is one thing that folks will never understand until you're in this space, at how important that is to grow, to sustain, even for me to keep mentally stable or mentally level, right? So that's one of the things that you don't learn. And especially if you're a newbie, like I like to say that I'm like the little Chingona that had this dream and this mission to do this, right? But financially, there has to be grants, sponsorship, people that have access to funds and be forthcoming with showing you where they are, like the She Angels, right? So we need more of that. So I finally got to that point to where people trust and they've learned and they see, like, oh wow, there's value and impact. But when you're first starting, nobody believes you. They think it's just a passion project and like whatever. But that's one thing that I've started to learn more now. But boy, somebody out there, at the end of the year, you have a huge tax write-up. Do some homework, go find a group that you think deserves it. Like I only wish that I have that platform a little bit more to ask, because I'm not ashamed of asking. I will ask anybody because I know what the women get. I'm so proud. In 2.5 years, outside of the awards program, because that is a fundraiser, none of our programs have been for cost, or there have not been a charge. Yeah. So I pride myself in that. And somebody might say, like, oh, that's backwards business. You should always, the fun. I get that, but let me succeed in that. I wanted to get to that point. For 2.5 years, it was all on my dime and everyone else, and charging we finally got to a stable ground where I do have program sponsors and we can give to youth, to the women that we serve. We can give them this chance to come and not feel like I don't have $40 to go. I'm okay with that.
So how can people get in touch with you and become part of the community?
They can do several things. The biggest thing I would ask is please, please, please follow our social media. Chingona Community is both on Facebook and Instagram. And then our website, www.chingonacommunity.com. If anybody wanted to call and say, Roz, we have this really large check, roz@chingonacommunity.com. And or you want to collaborate on a project, collaborate on a consulting grant. I've done it. We just recently wrote a really large submittal with another organization. We're always looking for that. And then I have to ask, because I'm trying to grow not only our space, our connections, and the connections that I pour to others, TikTok. OG Chingona Roz, if you follow me, really on tips on being a woman, like everything that I give to the Chingona community, I individually have tips on being perimenopausal, grandmother, entrepreneur, founder, business owner, unemployed, reemployed, like you name it, I've done it. So OG Chingona Roz on TikTok, I'd appreciate that follow as well. That's how they can get in touch with us.
So we have one last, what's usually a two-part question, but for you, we're going to make it a three-part question because we were lucky enough to see you with your beautiful daughters and granddaughter. So this is, we're adding them in. So our three-part question is, what's your dream for yourself? What's your dream for your daughters and granddaughter? And what's your dream for women?
Today, because it will impact me for later, my dream for myself is to make sure that I can finish my life one day and not have to worry. And it's not even so much of having a mansion, but my dream for myself is to sit on that ranch or that property, even if it's a trailer in Santa Ynez Valley, and to be able to say, gosh, that was a great life. So fun. So now I can be peaceful and quiet with coffee and know that there's so many people that are taken care of. That's my dream for me. My dream for my daughters and my granddaughter to never have to be supported by anybody else and to know that they could support them themselves. But if there happens to be an added partner, it's a great thing. Then you have double support. So my dream for them is to truly never have to rely on anybody and to be able to do it on their own. And that could be anything. And then my dream for all the other women. If you have suffered abuse, physical, mental, alcohol, drugs, DUI, whatever issue, for all the women that have, their skeletons in the closet, don't give up. The buck doesn't stop there unless you let it. So my dream for them is that they don't stop. Just keep going. Don't stop. You can slow down, but just don't stop.
Thanks for listening to the Passionistas Project. Everything we do is rooted in one belief: women's voices matter. And when we share our stories, we create real change. That's why we launched our anthology book series, Awakening Your Power: Real Stories of Women's Empowerment, a collection of raw, inspiring stories from women who are ready to be seen, heard, and make an impact. And here's the best part. You don't have to be a writer to be a contributing author. Our interview process is how we bring it all to life. We sit down with you, draw out your story in your authentic voice, and shape it into a powerful written chapter. No staring at a blank page, no pressure to get it right, just your truth told your way. When you join us, you're not just writing a chapter. You're stepping into a sisterhood built on storytelling, visibility, and support. From our membership community to podcast features and other opportunities to share your voice, we're here to help you amplify your message in ways that feel aligned. If your story is ready to be told, we're ready to help you tell it. Head to thepassionistasproject.com to learn more, join the sisterhood, and apply to be part of Awakening Your Power. Until next time, stay passionate.